Typically, this will be your first committee of reference for all bills related to elections laws, ethics laws, and matters pertaining to executive business. The Secretary of State serves as the Chief Election Officer and is charged with the responsibility of obtaining and maintaining uniformity in the interpretation and implementation of election laws.
An administrative issue, could be an issue about judgment, about turnout, could be an issue about locations of the early voting sites, it could be manpower issues, and it could be technology. So all of those issues encompass the fact-finding effort. If you're in the burger business and you don't have enough cash registers or burger makers, and you don't appropriate the money for that type of service, then yeah. So if we don't have enough tabulators, if we don't have enough in America, but if you don't have the appropriate administration. I couldn't say.
Florida's 2011 election law changes were politically motivated by the documents that I submit today. To disenfranchise likely Democratic voters, and not, as the Republican sponsors in the legislature contended, to prevent voter fraud.
Extended hours that allowed people to vote before they went to work and after they went to work was I think of additional value.
Mr. Secretary, you said that Dr. Leonard is retiring from Hillsborough County, and there were a couple of issues, and I'd like to know what issues did you have with Hillsborough County?
Primarily, he had some lines. They weren't as long as some of the other counties. But again, I consider him a high performer. He's been an extremely good partner with us. People think that the Secretary of State is the Chief Elections Officer, but I have actually very little of.
The Secretary of State serves as the Chief Election Officer and is charged with the responsibility of obtaining and maintaining uniformity in the interpretation and implementation of election laws.
The election process. Thank you for being here.
Good afternoon. I'm a local author, election integrity advocate, and editor of the Rick Scott Watch blog. The discussion is called Rigged, Florida Election 2012 and Beyond, a case for criminal intent on the part of the elements within the Florida Division of Elections, Department of State, various offices of supervisor elections, Florida Governor Rick Scott, a need for federal investigation. The mafia never investigates itself for criminal behavior. If they ever did, they'd be sure to tell you it was an honest mistake, nothing of their doing. We have to invite the feds in.
But are you prepared today to tell us what caused the long lines? Or is that part of your fact?
From the 2008 election, of the provisional ballots cast, 1/2 of them in 2008 were thrown out. Now, as a result of the new voter suppression law, You've already stated it, Mr. Chairman. Long lines, an avalanche of provisional ballots, court challenges, all of it has come to pass. You're going to have to draw your own conclusions, Mr. Chairman, in this committee, but it's pretty straightforward for the senior senator from Florida.
At last, we consider the farce of putting a mini Florida bar exam on the state ballot at the time of cutting early voting for 14 to 8 days. You'll see on page 30 where this meets the definition of the use of tests or devices to determine the eligibility to vote. On May 5th, 2011, while
Mr. Kearns,
hashing
can I
out
get you to wrap it up, please?
Okay.
We're out of time. So.
While hashing out 1335, Senator Mike Bennett said, "I want them to work for it. People in Africa walk 200 miles for it." Reference meaning what? American blacks don't work hard enough to vote. Okay, I'm wrapping it up right here. The governor now convenes a whoopsie-daisy commission to determine how he is not to blame. Secretary of State involved, it's all a big mistake. The holy grail of fascist corporatism is going to be...
Any analysis being done as to what extent the reduction in early voting hours may have contributed to the long lines?
No, sir.
Why is that?
It's possible we could do that. We haven't been charged. We're really charged with finding out what didn't go well and how to improve that. But I think the record speaks for itself. When you get record turnout of early voting and you get record turnouts of absentee votes, it's clear that people conformed and liked the experience that they had this year. When you get record turnout of early voting and you get record turnouts of absentee votes, it's clear that people conformed and liked the experience that they had this year.